As Halloween draws near, communities and families are gearing up for a night of ghosts and goblins. Today on City Chat, Columbus Division of Fire and Police Battalion Chief Jeffrey Geitter and Sergeant Joe Albert are here with us today to give us top tips and precautions to make this Halloween a fun and safe celebration for all. Chief and Sergeant, it's so great to have both of you guys here today. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So can you guys each briefly tell us about yourself and what you guys do for the city, and then we are going to talk about the best costume you have either been or have seen throughout the years.
All right.
Chief?
So I'm Jeffrey Geitter, Battalion Chief with the Columbus Division of Fire, currently serving in the Public Information Officer role. I get to work with Sergeant Albert often and really just get to speak about the good work our folks do out in the street to serve the community.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Sergeant Joe Albert, born and raised here in Columbus, currently serving as the PIO for the Columbus Division of Police. And as Chief Geitter said, we work closely with one another and provide the community with answers, or if they have questions on what's going on with the Division of Police, that's what our responsibility is.
Okay, and what's the best costume, Sergeant, that you've seen over the years, or you have been?
I would say my favorite costume that I've been, probably 3 or 4 years ago, my wife and I had a Halloween costume party, and we decided we wanted to be an elderly couple. So I flat out shaved the head, had just hair going around the sides, had a cane, had the knee-high socks, Velcro shoes. So that definitely was one of my favorite ones because people don't recognize you when you make that drastic change.
That's great. What about you?
So to see kids in costumes, I'm a little partial, but I think seeing them in firefighter outfits is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then just for me, my wife and I was the Grinch and she was Martha May, so that was
that's a good one.
fun costume. So yeah.
That's great. And so, when it comes to Halloween costumes and making sure that they're safe, can you elaborate on why you guys are having these recommendations that certain costumes need to be safe and why?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes from a safety side for the Division of Police, there's a few things that we recommend. One, if your child's wearing a mask, make sure they can see out of it.
Right.
If the mask is altering their vision in some way, as they're walking, across streets, stuff like that, they might not be able to see an upcoming danger. So make sure the mask fits, make sure the eye holes are big enough that they can see out of. And then, 2, make sure there's something reflective on their costume. Make sure that whether it's a flashlight that they're carrying with them, if you can't, attach something to their costume, or like a glow stick around their necklace. As we know, this time of year it gets dark pretty quickly. So if we can make sure that they are more visible, it's a safer way to go for us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Those are kind of tips that you don't really think about, but then they're like, oh wow, that makes so much sense, and you wouldn't really take the time to make those extra big eye holes, but it really could be life-threatening. When it comes to Halloween decorations, I do feel like this year specifically, there has been a revamp on decorations. Have you seen that big skeleton, that giant, that 9-foot skeleton?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was new this year. But when it comes to Halloween decorations and its safety, and from the fire department's perspective, what are you guys recommending?
So I agree with you. I think this year I have seen just a tremendous increase in just decorations around homes. It's almost Christmas-like. That people are really engaging and decorating, and that part's fun. Just the safety angle is because corn stalks can be dried out. Sometimes witches' costumes or brooms and all these things, they can be flammable. And so really having those staged in an area that they're not near anything flammable is really important. Even, electrical outlets, those kind of things, keeping them clear of the distance from those.
Yeah. In your experience, what kinds of incidents have you seen, and have you seen any incidents where Halloween decorations catch fire, or can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's here in Columbus or nationwide, every year, tragically there are fires caused by open flames too close to flammable items. And so, we just want to have that conversation ahead of time, plan for it. It would be the same with children's costumes, planning to make sure that if they're really flowy, that, you minimize and make them aware of what to do if they ever came in contact with fire. And those are conversations that are hard. However, I think you have to have them ahead of time to plan so that you're prepared for if something happens. And so the stop, drop, and rolls, cover your face, those kind of things. And again, the idea would be to minimize any potential being around flames. You know, they sell those little flameless tea lights now that you can get at Amazon, Target, Walmart, name your big box store. You know, those light up really well and cost just as much as a regular candle. So I would recommend, you know, we have a few weeks now till Halloween, really look for those kind of items that can still give you the effect that everyone wants, but are much safer.
If I take my child trick-or-treating and I see a lit candle, am I allowed to blow it out, or?
You know, I wouldn't know if I would say you'd blow it out. I would certainly maybe have a conversation with the folks there if it's their property or something like that. You don't want to get into a big debate, but you know, if it's in a safe way, I mean, people can have a candle, you know, in their jack-o'-lantern and all that. It's just the recommendation is to not. And you know, I don't think we or police are going to go enforce putting out a candle that is in a safe manner. But again, minimizing those exposures to, again, if there's opportunity to not have an open flame, that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, but if I'm dressed as a firefighter, can I put the flame out? I'm just kidding.
No, that would be a funny shtick.
Right.
But we certainly don't want to have any kind of conflict or debate.
Right.
You know, a homeowner and a trick-or-treat and just have a good night. So it's just planning about having those conversations with your children, you know, to watch for those things. You know, everything Sergeant Albert, it's just about safety. Have fun. It's a great night, but truly keeping our kids safe is important.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Sergeant Albert, can you kind of speak a little bit about what you have seen as far as safety and costumes, or just in general the nights of trick-or-treating? I know last year there was like the candy or whatever. There was. Yeah,
I mean, there's a few things that we recommend. One, when it comes to trick-or-treating, we prefer you go out in groups. It's a lot more fun when you're with your friends anyway, going from house to house and having a good time with each other. When you're in groups, you're more visible. As I explained earlier, it gets dark really early, so you're harder to see if you're out there by yourself walking around from house to house. Make sure you're using crosswalks, cross the street safely, look both directions, left, right, left, and then, you know, cross street. We see, you know, nationwide, and we've seen it locally, where we have accidents where children and other people are struck by vehicles. So the same as we tell trick-or-treaters, make sure you cross the street safely, we're also telling motorists, slow down.
Yeah.
You're in neighborhoods, know that it's trick-or-treat night. Just drive slow, be patient, you know, let kids cross the street. Nobody wants a tragic incident to happen. When it comes to candy, we tell parents, inspect your children's candy before you let them eat it. We've seen, thankfully not locally, we haven't heard of any reports, but nationwide there's been reports of drugs that have been made to look like candy. So if you go through your child's candy, make sure that everything looks like it's commercially wrapped, how it's supposed to be. Everybody knows what a Snickers wrapper looks like. Everybody knows what, you know, a Jolly Rancher wrapper looks like. Make sure stuff like that is how it should look before you let your child eat the candy.
Definitely. Is there anything that either one of you would like to add?
No, I think have fun. Like Chief Geitter said, everybody has a blast at trick-or-treat. If you see a police officer, stop, talk to them. I think a lot of officers in the neighborhoods try to, if they're not on a run, you know, pull their cruiser over on the side of the road and interact with the people that are there trick-or-treating. So have a great night. Make it safe for everybody involved.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Enjoy the evening.
Yeah.
And a quick spot, Columbus Police and Columbus Fire are hosting a trunk or treat on the 29th.
Oh, okay.
Here near police headquarters on Marconi. That's from 4 to 6 p.m.
Yeah, we
welcome.
did it for the first time last year. It was a blast. Had a lot of people come. Wear your costumes, come down. It's a family-friendly, safe event for everyone to enjoy before trick-or-treat.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you both so much for coming on and talking to us about all these tips.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
I'm Josie Smith. Thanks for watching City Chat on CTV.